Do you feel like you have to carefully measure every word with your teenage daughter because you just never know what might set her off? Maybe you're exhausted from the mood swings, the emotional explosions, maybe the shutdowns, or feeling like every conversation turns into some type of conflict that she just might snap at you. Okay, Mama, you're not alone. Today's episode, we're talking about why so many moms feel like they're walking on eggshells with their teen daughters. And I'm going to give you 4 confident ways that you can approach her without fear, without frustration, or even losing who you are as mama in the process. If you've been longing for more peace, more confidence, and connection in your relationship with your daughter, this episode is for you. If you are frustrated with how to get your teenage daughter to open up to you because all you want is to connect with her as you once did, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Jeannie Baldomero, a former rebellious teen, now mom of 3 young adults, educator, and the mom mentor, equipping you to create open communication with your girl so she can come to you about anything, even if she's scared. So grab your oat milk latte, breathe, and let's do this together. I know you are frustrated and confused about how to even approach your girl without having any backlash or somehow causing any offense. You simply want to know more about her because for some reason you don't feel as connected to her anymore. She talks less, not like how she used to, and you just wish things were different between the two of you. You want to know whether or not things are going okay with her. She just won't share with you, and you just don't know why. You've tried everything, but it was so hard to connect with her. I want you to know that there is still hope, Mama. You are not alone. I want you to stop feeling frustrated with your current situation, and I want you to start equipping yourself with solutions to help you reconnect with your teenage daughter. I'm going to help you understand the changes happening in your girl, how you can shift your role in this new season in teenhood, and how your relationship will flourish again by creating a space where your girl will be talking to you. Yes, your girl will be talking to you. Talk to Your Teen Girl framework is a 30-day journey that will get you creating open communication with your teenage daughter. She'll come to you even if she's scared, even if it's something hard to talk about. She'll come to you. I want you to head on over to talktoyourteengirl.com right now, and let's get started together. Are you ready? Why does it feel like I have to walk on eggshells around my teenage daughter? You're probably thinking that, right? You love her deeply, you want connections with her, and you want peace in your home. But lately, you second guess every conversation before it even starts. You wonder what kind of day it's going to be when she comes through that door. Which version of your daughter are you going to have today? You even rehearse your words in your head on how you're going to approach her, and you wonder if bringing something up will ruin the whole evening, so you don't bring it up. Or you get frustrated because you can never talk about it. And then you brace yourself for the eye roll, the attitude, the shutdown, or the emotional explosion. Sometimes it feels like you're constantly trying to avoid setting her off. And maybe you found yourself thinking, I don't even know how to talk to her anymore. Why does everything turn into a conflict? Maybe you're exhausted from trying to keep the peace. Or maybe you're thinking you're doing something wrong. And if that's you, I want you to know this first. Again, you're not alone in this. Don't think it's just you, Mama. And this season does not mean your relationship is broken. Teen girls are emotionally complex. They're deeply sensitive and trying to figure out who they are while their brains, their hormones, friendships, and identity and independence is happening right now. They're all shifting all at once in this body, this changing body and mind of your daughter. So that doesn't make the behavior easy, right? But understanding what's happening underneath it all can help you stop parenting from fear, from being on edge, or from taking it personally. Okay, now, why do moms start walking on eggshells during this time or feel like they are? Well, one, it's because teen girls can feel emotionally unpredictable. One minute she's laughing with you in the kitchen, the next minute she's completely shutting down over something that seems small to you. Maybe you laughed at something that she's super sensitive to and you had no idea. Or maybe one comment just triggered her. And you start becoming hyper aware of her moods because emotionally charged reactions can feel overwhelming to you, right? They're triggering you. And you start thinking, what version of her am I getting, right? That unpredictability can make moms anxious before conversations even begin. Maybe, too, because moms fear losing connection with their daughters. Maybe you feel that way. A lot of moms aren't just afraid of conflict. They're afraid of disconnection. I've worked with lots of moms, and that's one of the things that they feel creating open communication is lacking because they feel disconnected. All of a sudden, their fun-loving girl that went to mama for everything and chatted about everything stopped. And this sudden disconnect happens, and wondering why she stopped talking to me, right? You don't want her to stop talking to you. You don't want her pushing you away. And you don't want every conversation to feel tense. You want them to be pleasant like they used to be. So sometimes moms avoid hard conversations altogether because they fear damaging that relationship and losing more connection. But avoiding necessary conversations doesn't create closeness. It actually creates more distance and confusion. The third is because your daughter's reactions can trigger your own fears or insecurities. This one's a huge one, right? If we're being real here, they can really trigger us. Sometimes your daughter's anger or withdrawal, disrespect, or emotional intensity starts affecting how you see yourself as a mom. So you begin asking, am I failing? Does she even respect me? Why can't I get this right? And when we parent from fear or rejection or insecurity, we stop approaching our daughters confidently. We become reactive instead of grounded. But I want you to know there's good news for you, mama, and this is why you're listening. You do not have to become emotionally controlled by your daughter's reactions. And you do not have to shrink yourself just to keep the peace. You can learn to approach her calmly, confidently, and consistently, even when emotions are high. I teach this a lot in Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. I talk about each little step that actually stack upon each other, which allows your daughter to slowly open up. I've had lots of moms who've taken the course come to me and say how surprised they are that their daughter has opened up to them simply by implementing some of the steps that I teach in Talk to Your Teen Girl framework, right? And so we want to approach her calmly and confidently. And let's talk about these 4 confidence building approaches that will help you stop walking on eggshells and really start leading your daughter with steadiness and connection. Okay? So I'm going to give you 4 ways to confidently approach and build your confidence to approach your daughter. The first one is don't let her reactions control your approach. This is the first and most important one, I think. Your daughter's emotions are real, but they should not dictate your confidence as a mom. All the eye rolls, the sighs, the shutdowns, even maybe some of the mean things that she says out of emotional outbursts may cause you to retreat or panic or avoid conversations. And you unintentionally teach both yourself and her that emotions control the relationships. That's important. When we do this, we unintentionally teach both you and your daughter that control the emotions, right? Control the relationships. Confident moms stay grounded even when their daughters are not. I use the analogy of the roller coaster in my earlier episodes. She can ride the roller coaster all by herself as you wait calmly at the entrance, grounded on the floor as you watch her, do the loop-de-loops, the the large dips and large highs, but you're right there, her stable on the ground waiting for her, right? Those are confident moms. That's my picture of what a confident mom looks like. That doesn't mean becoming harsh or emotionless, right? We're not trying to disconnect by not emotionally connecting. It means that you stay calm without absorbing every reaction personally, right? Her frustrations does not automatically mean you did something wrong, right? We have to shift that perspective. Just because she's frustrated doesn't mean you have to fix it, right? And doesn't mean it's your fault. Sometimes she's overwhelmed, sometimes she's hormonal, and sometimes she's just processing emotions she doesn't even understand herself. And guess what? You're her safe space, and that's why you get the brunt of it. I think in a way it's a good thing, but yes, we have to remember ourselves, Mama, that we're not going to be the one that rides the roller coaster with her, right? Your job is not to emotionally collapse every time she reacts. Your job is really to stay steady. Second way to confidently approach your daughter is to lead with understanding first before assumptions. Okay, I've been guilty of this too. I assume a lot of what I see without really taking the time to understand, right? And that's maybe you're guilty of that too. So this is such a great point in building that confidence, is really lead with understanding first before we can assume. A lot of conflict escalates because teens feel misunderstood before they feel heard. Sometimes moms jump quickly into fixing, correcting, lecturing, and defending. And when I say moms, I mean we, right? But confident communication often starts with curiosity, right? I talk about be curious instead of approaching her and saying, why are you acting like this, right? Because it can be very defensive and very she can get very defensive and very judgy. Maybe we can try something like, hey, you seem overwhelmed today. What's been weighing you down, right? Or any way that you've been talking, your own language, right? You want to sound actually genuine, but we want to switch the way we speak to our daughters. Instead of accusatory and assuming, right? We want to be curious, right? And one way it could be, hey, something is something bothering you? Can you tell me? Can you tell me about it? So instead of immediately correcting attitude, try understanding the emotion underneath it first. Because, often the attitude is not just the surface. It's not what you get, It's not, you get what you get, right? It's not that. Underneath it may be stress, insecurity, or maybe it's friendship drama she's dealing with at school, or pressure from peers or from herself, wanting to perform, right? Nowadays, it's all about getting into the right college and having this perfect portfolio because it's so dang hard to get into college, right? So they have this pressure on themselves already, or maybe some fear or exhaustion, or maybe feeling misunderstood by other people, right? So we want to be the last people to misunderstand our daughters based on how they show up to us, right? It's really understanding what's underneath that. So curiosity really lowers her defensiveness. The third way is to stay emotionally regulated during hard conversations. This is a hard one, right? I'm a feeler, so I feel everything. And people called me the drama queen growing up. It's not people, it was really my brother. My younger brother would call me the drama queen because I was such a feeler, right? And so this one is where, for us feeler moms, it really is important for us to stay emotionally regulated during hard conversations, right? Calm is very powerful. We get to set the tone for our daughters when they are having a hard time setting the tone for themselves, right? Teen girls often mirror emotional intensity. So if we stay calm, guess what? They may stay calm. If she raises her voice and you immediately raise yours back, the conversation quickly becomes about survival instead of connection. So confident moms pause before reacting. They breathe, they slow the conversation down, and they refuse to let emotions hijack the moment. So listen, staying calm does not mean being passive, right? It doesn't mean I'm checked out, I'm not going to say anything. You could still hold boundaries firmly while staying emotionally steady, right? You could say, I'm willing to talk about this, but we're going to speak respectfully. Or you can even have that emotion. I'm willing to talk about this, but maybe right now is not a good time. We can check back when we both are calm, right? This is confidence. The fourth way is to focus on long-term relationships over winning the moment, right? We want to win the war, not the battle. So we want to focus on really long-term relationship when we think about this over really getting caught up in the little things, right, in the moment. This one changes everything, right? In heated moments, it's easy to become focused on proving a point, being the right one, correcting behavior, and winning the argument. But confident parenting asks, what kind of relationship am I building long term, right? Is this worth a battle? What is the saying? I'm so bad with cliche sayings, but is it worth the hill you're going to die on, right? Each thing that you are trying to prove a point on. What hill are you trying to die on? Well, for me, I want to build a long relationship. And if I can fight for that, maybe the little things aren't going to matter as much, right? Your daughter needs guidance. Yes, she does. She needs boundaries. Yes. But she also needs a safe relationship where she knows she can come back after mistakes, emotions, and hard days, right? After she blows up, does she know she can go back to you? Because you know you have her back anyway. Sometimes the goal of a conversation is not about immediate agreement. Sometimes the goal is preserving trust while she's still holding truth, right? You are still holding the truth and you're creating trust because you're choosing not to be right or, correct her at that moment, right? And that balance matters deeply to her. Does she have space to say what she needs even when you don't agree at that time? Do you have discernment to know when is the appropriate time to guide her, right? So mama, if you've been walking on eggshells lately, I want you to hear this. You are not powerless in this season, and your daughter's emotional intensity does not mean you're failing. Teen years can feel really messy because your daughter is growing emotionally. She's changing mentally and socially. She's starting to see where she fits in this world. And spiritually, right? She might be questioning her own faith and where she fits. All at once. All in that tiny body of hers, right? Tiny growing body of hers. And she still needs you. Maybe differently than before, but deeply nonetheless. And the more grounded and confident you become, the safer your presence becomes for her too, right? So this episode is really about, yes, your daughter will show up the way she'll show up, but you don't have to succumb to that. Only you can choose how you react and choose how you're going to show up for your daughter, right? So here's your challenge this week. Before your next hard conversation with your daughter, pause and ask yourself, what energy am I bringing into this conversation? Am I bringing fear, defensiveness, maybe frustration? Or am I bringing calm, steadiness, curiosity, and confidence? Because your emotional posture matters more than perfect words. I want you to hear that one more time. Your emotional posture matters more than the perfect words. So I want you to think about that. What is it going to be like when she comes through that door? How is your next reaction going to be like with her? And how are you going to receive that? Okay, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this episode encouraged you, will you do me a favor and send this to another mom who may be feeling the same way right now? And I want you to remember, you do not need to parent perfectly to parent powerfully. Your steady presence in your girl's life matters more than you know. I'll see you next week. Hey friend, if this podcast inspired you or encouraged you or helped you in any way, I'd love for you to share it. You can screenshot this episode and share it in your stories on social media or text it to a friend who can use the support. It's the best way you can thank me. I want to let other mamas know they are not alone. I'd love to stay connected with you. You can find me at raisingherconfidently.com. Until next time, live full of grace, Jeannie.